Welcome to Unit Masters speaker session for week 4 of our program, 6 weeks learning program. Today we have with us Randa Al Rifai, based in Lebanon. And Randa has been in the crypto space for quite a number of years. And not only has she been in this space, she has actually actively shaped the space and created education for the Middle East, participated as a speaker in all different kinds of ecosystems to educate, create awareness, educate, and also drive adoption of decentralized ecosystems. So Randa, very great to have you with us. And I would love to give you the stage to share for a few minutes about your life works, your story, your vision behind what you're doing and why you're doing it. Thanks
Yes,
for being with us.
thank you, Yip, for this chance to connect with international people and for this session, because I agree with you that we have to stay connected with people and deliver the messages that or the education and the experience that we have learned. So, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. My name is Randa Al Rifai. I'm from Lebanon. Basically, I've started my career in the banking sector 13 years ago. And in 2015, I came across this life-changing technology, which is Bitcoin. So and then it opened up many doors. It was a key for many doors of interest, new interest actually for me. One of them is that I got introduced to an alternative way of exchanging money. It's obvious because I come from a banking sector. Another thing is that it changed my perspective of the monetary financial policy that we are all living in. And one of the main things that it encouraged me to learn about technology because I haven't had any clue about it. And then I was really urged that I should know about this technology and where to start from. I started from researching, reading articles, following up with the news until I found the right way or the proper way to educate myself. And that was when I studied in 2015 a certificate that everyone can access, which is for free. It's at University of Nicosia, where I'm an ambassador for University of Nicosia and Lebanon. And there, in 2015, my journey started. So, being the first woman in the Middle East to be certified in the blockchain technology and the digital currencies, I didn't want to keep this for myself. So I thought that this is a very revolutionary transformation, let's say, in many ways. So after observing the potentials of blockchain technology, after having the experience in networking with people outside Lebanon about this technology, I thought that this should be present in Lebanon. So there was when I created a kind of a community, let's say it's a hub for like-minded people, the people who are interested to know about Bitcoin and any other cryptocurrency and about the blockchain applications. So it started in 2016 and we are still till now. We had like started with a very few or small group of people, and then it grew larger, and we are connecting. We stay connected like every day. We share the news, we share our experiences because this community also includes people outside Lebanon, whether Lebanese or non-Lebanese people. So this is the benefit of it. And of course, many job opportunities are created, many collaborations are also created, working on startups or even big companies, or even having the chance to educate and learn about this technology. So the community has been a very successful initiative, and I'm still proud of it. And we are still continuing our progress. One more thing, I found that we have to build a hub in Lebanon, which wasn't there, for everything, including blockchain, every technology, emerging technology that can transform our, let's say, situation, or can add a value for transformation. And what else than digital transformation? So I think that you already have an idea that we are in the fourth industrial revolution, and it's all about technology and digitization. So transforming is something very important, so we won't be left behind. I'm a banker, and I thought that I don't want to be left behind. So I had challenges through the way, because I had been challenged by my colleagues and my managers and my environment, so that it was tough for me and it wasn't easy. And then in 2017, we became more famous in Lebanon and outside Lebanon. Actually, the outside world recognized us more, because in the Lebanese ecosystem, we had the problem of understanding why there's something called Bitcoin, or what is blockchain. So it was very difficult to uh, raise awareness, even not even educate. So on the journey of education, I taught a class of teenagers at the summer camp at the Beirut Digital District, a district for everything that is involved in technology and coding and programming. So I'd had the chance to educate the youth generation, which was very surprising to me, that they are the ones who uh, cared and had the interest to invest even in cryptocurrencies, or start to learn how to trade. So, and then I had the chance to educate a higher level students, master's degree students in the Middle East University in Lebanon. And that was an elective course. I taught the theoretical and educational part of it. And that was also a milestone for me and for the community. So I go back to the what I created. So yeah, so we realized that there's a deep or a serious need to create a hub that can revive the service-oriented economy of Lebanon. We're an economy, or we always have relied on the service economy in Lebanon. And there has been recent years that the economy really went collapsed, let's say. And now we are passing through a financial crisis that has been almost for 1 year and a half. So I thought that we have the chance to regrow, let's say, or to rise again. We say that we rise from the ashes as the Phoenicians. So that was the aim, to create an association which is official and approved by the government, the Lebanese Association for Digital Transformation was created as an initiative to also educate people, to work on researches and consultation for the governmental sector, the public one and the private one, the private companies, I mean, whether banks or private institutions or even schools and universities. So, all in all, my passion and my mission is to create this, let's say, a room for letting the people in Lebanon, or the people in the least developed countries, to have the chance to create something that makes value for themselves and for their economy. And we have it in our hands. It's all online. We can educate ourselves. We can start writing codes, programming, and we can study a free course or a master's program that I'm also enrolled in now.
Thank you, Randa. So when you build these communities, what
Yes.
are kind of the questions you receive, and then what is good ways to really help people see the value of the new economy?
Yes. So this community is a successful example. To start with, let's say it's similar to any community that is built outside Lebanon. We have one in Dubai, Pakistan, Switzerland, Amsterdam. So there's a Bitcoin or blockchain community all over the world. I'm sorry for this noise. So as I mentioned before, and as you just mentioned, the economy needs to evolve in a revolutionary way. So according to the financial crisis that we are going through, let's take an example of Bitcoin or cryptocurrency and the easy way of transferring money instantly and without any border. This is where I started. I started with the people that you want to have a financial freedom. You want to overcome the obstacles of transferring and opening accounts. You know that there are billions of people that don't have a bank account and they don't have access to the financial system everywhere in the world. So in Lebanon, we have a really good population in the rural areas that they don't have access to the financial system, whether to open a bank account or have a loan or open a small institution so they can have an income. So with the cryptocurrencies, we have a way of connecting with the outside world in a very easy and instant way. For example, we have a lot of Lebanese population outside Lebanon, and they usually Lebanon depends on such remittances. So nowadays, because of the financial crisis and because the banks put some constraints on withdrawals of money, and they have a capital control on the savings and the deposits. There was a quite good way to overcome these challenges, and many Lebanese, unresident Lebanese people were transferring for their families cryptocurrencies, and they were cashed out here in the market. So to compare between 2015, 16, and 17, and 2020 and 21, there's a huge difference and the growth of, let's say, awareness, not education. I can say there's still a gap of education. I can say awareness for the potential and the benefits of cryptocurrency, for example. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, how has this kind of need or questions about the value of the ecosystem changed over the past years? It started off as being remittances, right? People wanted to know, how can I receive money from my relatives abroad, or other way around, how can people send money to the relatives? What
Yeah.
happened like during the ICO boom and so on? How did these global events affect the interests of your community?
Okay, so if I can talk about the community, it did affect the individuals of this community. I mean, the people who are who really knows about cryptocurrencies and follow up with the news and the events. I'm not talking about the ecosystem in Lebanon because, as I told you, there's still a gap in the market where people are going for it just for the need. I mean, during the pandemic and the crisis that we have been through, so people lost their jobs and people were so much depending on the remittances and on the dollar bill and not the Lebanese lira, because there has been a very severe crash in the Lebanese lira. So the dollar value in Lebanon is today the highest of all time values. So these people not only were in need for such cryptocurrency transfers, but they were also in need to reserve their remaining wealth. So what happened is that people didn't trust anymore the banking and the financial system. So what was left for them in their houses, let's say, or what their children were sending them in dollars was really exchanged into buying Bitcoin. This is the second need, that people started believing that in Bitcoin I can preserve my wealth. It is a store of value till now, and people are getting are adopting it more in Lebanon, especially in the pandemic phase and the last 6 months, let's say. So this is a really uh, um, encouraging way, let's say, for promoting the value of this technology. But I can say that there's still a gap for exploring the potential of blockchain technology in Lebanon.
Yeah. Do you want to share a little bit about the potential of the technology and how you see it, and also how you see it in the Middle Eastern region?
Yeah, in the Middle Eastern region, going out from Lebanon, in the Middle East region, there have been quite good initiatives and governmental involvement for supporting the blockchain technology. For example, Dubai and Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. So we have been seeing the evolvement and the revolutionary act for this through Dubai government, when they decided to transform all 50% of their governmental applications into blockchain. And we have been also witnessing the evolution of smart cities, not only using blockchain but also integrating with other emerging technologies that such as Internet of Things, AI, and quantum. So also in Bahrain, for example, which is a Middle Eastern country, it was the first Arabian country to let the central bank give a license for the first exchange in the Arab region or in the Middle East area to exchange cryptocurrencies for fiat money. So that was a really a successful revolution against fiat currencies, let's say. But it was licensed from the central bank. So this is a very good, let's say, site that we can see that we are going into a journey of progress and growth for this technology in the MENA region. Now for the Lebanese like myself, what we are doing basically, we're trying to build or implement our vision and implement our enthusiastic feeling for this technology, but unfortunately outside Lebanon. We are collaborating with people outside Lebanon to build something for Lebanon. Like I'm working on something related to least developed countries, basically starting with Lebanon and then Africa, to facilitate the adoption of cryptocurrency, the use of cryptocurrency, and also adding on this the exposure to the outer world or the online e-commerce, for example. So this is very important because also we have a problem with purchasing online products and services due to the bank's constraints on withdrawing dollars from our accounts. So this is needed here in Lebanon. But I'm working on it with outside people and will be registered outside Lebanon. So what do we need in Lebanon? We need the government encouragement, like the Dubai example. We need the ecosystem education and the need of the youth generation because it's in their hands. I mean, they have the key for it. If they convince their parents to start, let's say, investing in Bitcoin instead of anything else, or let's say they start to learn online programming or coding, it will end in a very fruitful way, and we can transform all the difficulties that we are going through into potential success, let's say.
Can
So if you go back to your question about the potentials of blockchain applications, and for those who don't know about the potential benefits of blockchain, so blockchain can work in different aspects. There have been studies and researches and attempts to engage blockchain in banks, financial institutions. For example, the example of Ripple, let's say, it was the first one. Blockchain technology have been influencing the social impact. It has been making a social impact in many lives. For example, the Syrian refugees and the Arabian countries, let's say, and what else? The smart contracts, for example, the supply chain of integrated in the healthcare. So we have a lot to talk about for the potential of blockchains. Sorry, of blockchain. So I leave it up to you if you have a definite question about any specific thing related to blockchain.
Yeah, so this is an invitation to the community also that you guys can write questions into the chat if you have, and I'll read them out to Randa. And while we're awaiting questions, whoever wants to ask anything to our speaker, maybe Randa, you can share, just pick a use case that you care really much about. How does, for example, blockchain
Yeah.
technology or cryptocurrencies transform the lives of people in a very, like, use case that you've been seeing in the Middle Eastern region? You mentioned a few, maybe you have another one that you like to share about.
Yeah, I've been working. I've started in 2016. I've worked with a startup that that concentrated on the identity management, and we've went through challenges uh, to persuade people how blockchain technology can help in identifying someone that was born without an identity, let's say. So we worked on developing a secure proof of identity on the blockchain, which facilitated the effective link between everything that is offline and online. So we were trying to create an identity for this person wherein really he doesn't have one. So this was potentially transforming the lives of 1.1 billion people worldwide that don't have an identity. And in the area where I'm living, we had Syrian refugee camps. And since the war in Syria, there have been, I don't know, maybe million of children born in Lebanon and not identified because they have the problem of going back to Syria to register their children, and they have the cost of going there and the cost of registration, and already the war was still there and didn't end up through like 5 or 6 years. So that was a very humanitarian act that we were trying to develop, and it went successfully. I exited this initiative, but I worked on it in Lebanon. And in the time of crisis, like example, we had, that we had the Beirut port explosion. So there has been many aids, humanitarian aids, directed to Lebanon from the diaspora or from any other international associations. But because we suffer from corruption in our country, that disastrous corruption, so we try to figure out that we don't need this aid or the funds that have been transferred to the people who are in need to also be, let's say, stolen, or we didn't want to have anything to do with the corruption also in humanitarian aid. So my suggestion and initiative to them was, we can pay. There have been payments through PayPal and bank transfers, but a very successful or a promising use case that we still can do, and we still can grow with. Yeah, we can still work on, let's say, okay, was tracking these humanitarian aids from various countries through a, we can call it a supply chain, or we can call it a chain that we can track the funds going from this association to that person, or from an association to another, or from an NGO to another. So that was my initiative. We didn't have the time really to work on it successfully, but I think we will be prepared in case something like this happens in the future. And I realized that we are really in need of such, let's say, infrastructure during crisis. Because during crisis, you cannot relate, or you cannot stay completely focused on everything going around you. So if we prepare ourselves for this, we can end up with better results.
Amazing. Maybe a use case for usage of tokens. So now we spoke about blockchain as identity management, maybe logistics, transparency in the supply chain. Any use cases that you've been actively engaged with or that you've
Uh,
seen evolving with
Yeah,
tokens?
yes, exactly. I've seen the NFTs, or the non-fungible tokens,
Yes.
evolving all around the world. At first, honestly, I didn't get persuaded by this act. I mean, it's like many people will think this way. And because I've questioned people around me, that do you think that if you want to sell your art, piece of art, and that you something that you digitally have drawn, do you think that you can sell it online, and that person will be the only person owning the token that is related to the real art, and that he can sell it again, and it would be a unique identification for your art, and you will get the money, you will be paid in Ethereum, and that's it. So it was, wow, that's very easy. So I guided a few people here in Lebanon to start their NFT, and they are really young, talented artists. So one of them, yeah, he started, and he started also selling on the website of NFT, one of the websites, and I thought that this generation, the young generation, can accept things that the elder ones would find it hard to accept. So they are open for the internet. So he opened up an account. He posted his art, and his digital art, and he is gaining Ethereum while he's sitting at home. So I encourage such a token, and I think that people need to read about it more and see how it's growing, so they can try to fit in this transforming ecosystem, because every day we have something new, every day we have a new token and a new ICO, which I don't believe in them. Sorry, but sorry, but 90% of the ICOs that have been issued during the last 3 years are scams. So be aware of them. And also many, you can see like more than 5,000 cryptocurrencies listed on in the market. You have to read about it, you have to follow up the news, and don't be influenced by big or famous, let's say, enterprises that invest in such cryptocurrencies. Please be aware, because at the end of the day, this famous or whales. We call them whales. These whales are acting for their own benefit, not for yours. So be aware of the cryptocurrencies that are emerging every day and stick to the solid ones like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and anything that you can judge, because this is really it's different from the stock market and the bond market. It's only based on your judgment and your knowledge about it. You are the one who is holding the risk, and you are the one who is willing to maybe lose this amount of money. So make sure about what you want to lose and make sure about the risks. Please educate yourself, read and go to trusted sources. For example, University of Nicosia. You can have the introduction for digital currency and blockchain for free. And then you can register or enroll in the master's program. But still, you can have the introduction for free. So this is my advice for everyone.
Yeah, in the age of self-agency, we also have the responsibility, right, to educate ourselves and read. And there's a question from Natalia. She asked, like, in your opinion, is there a need to have a difference between a global versus a regional approach to blockchain? Are there any specific cultural differences that require a different approach
Okay.
in
The,
what this technology can do and based on the given conditions of the different communities?
yes, I have two answers for this question. First, blockchain and cryptocurrencies are borderless, okay, and they are permissionless. So anyone can enter into this ecosystem, and anyone can start on doing a project. Of course, we focus on the blockchain potentials where we need them. Sometimes we don't need a blockchain technology; we need something else. So also make sure that you need it, because after a lot of challenges, you will find a blocked way, let's say. And the second answer for this question is yes, it depends on the culture and the ecosystem and the region that you are living in. For example, if you are living, I can say on the Arab region, if you are living in Dubai or Abu Dhabi, there have been many initiatives, not only from the government side, also from the market authority side, regulation side, enterprises side. They have been encouraging it and working on it with global companies to make it happen. So there, the culture encourage people, and the ecosystem is continuously growing. Where in Lebanon, for example, or any other region that we need to work on, we have to work first on our environment, on our culture. We have to work on the old people that don't have an access to the financial system and also don't know how to use a smartphone, let's say, or they can use a smartphone just to check their notifications on Facebook or YouTube. But what I was been doing and I'm still doing is educating them to benefit from financial outcome from this smartphone. So we only need a smartphone and an internet connection, and of course an infrastructure. And this is the work of the government, not only the people. So yeah, there's difference between regions and cultures, of course.
Yeah, so following up with a question from Ankur, he's like, okay, now I read all these projects and all of them seem life-changing and the presentation is super crisp. Now, what is the basic checklist that you would follow while doing the research about a project um,
Yes,
to see if it's good or bad? And then what are the best resources to do
yes.
research on the different projects?
Yes, first you have to check the project in terms of why they are doing this project. Is there a problem that they are solving? For example, I can give you if you know about ADA or Cardano, that is solving a problem in the Ethereum network. So this is why it's getting more people interested in it and investing. So another thing, you have to look at the team. Who are the people that are solving this problem, and what is their expertise, their education? Um, on the contrary to ADA, I can say Dogecoin. Dogecoin, you know that it was a joke. So do you take the risk and invest in it or not? Do you invest on the short term or the long term? These questions you should ask yourself. Third, uh, you read the white paper. It gives you every detail about the project, the solution, the team, and what are the expectations. So basically, these are the basic list. And going further, you have to follow up with the news, with their social media accounts, and the experienced influencers of cryptocurrency, or the experienced people that usually also give reviews about such tokens or cryptocurrencies. I always follow them. For example, I follow Andreas Antonopoulos, that always guided me. He has been my instructor and has been guiding me for understanding Bitcoin, because the concept of Bitcoin is not only about cryptocurrency, it's more than that. So you can go online, check Andrea's videos, for example, and you can reach me also on my LinkedIn page. And yeah, basically my LinkedIn page, because I'm active there.
I'm following up on a question that Angel had posted. He's new
Yeah.
to he's new to Bitcoin and new to blockchain
Okay.
technology, and he's reading a lot of bad press about the Bitcoin community having a hidden agenda. It's super volatile. It will not last forever, and he's just wondering what are ways to look at it in a different perspective.
Okay. You know that. Thank you. So you know that I can give you the recent example of Bitcoin, and you have to look into it. El Salvador, okay, the first country to give Bitcoin the feature of legal tender, meaning that you know that the money, the cash, and everything that you deal with as money has a legal tender from the government and the central bank, so that it can be exchanged between people. It acts as a store value, unit of account, and medium of exchange. So now Bitcoin had this um, let's say, I don't know, had this something special given to it from the El Salvador, and they are aiming to keep it as a store of wealth or reserve instead of gold. And they have the capacity of mining Bitcoin and keeping it as instead of gold, because Bitcoin has a volatile price, of course, but Bitcoin will be stabilizing by price, let's say, for the coming years, because it's still a baby. I can say it's still on the growing process. So, what do you think about when you hear about a country that is giving this feature for a new invented, or an infant technology that has been only there for 13 years? So you should agree that if a country and the government went so far like this, so there's something valuable, or something that we should look into it. So make sure to connect or observe the appropriate and the correct information about Bitcoin, and I think you will end up with knowing all about it, and yeah, and agreeing with what I'm saying.
Right,
Yeah,
making an
because
informed
El
decision
Salvador,
by oneself.
yeah, exactly. El Salvador was the first country, but I think that we think in the community, the worldwide community, that many countries will follow.
Yeah. So, one last thought experiment before we wrap up. So, Randa, what would it take to install or introduce a regional currency, for example, a Beirut token for your your community? What does one need to make it work?
It takes me. it, I will start with this. Okay, it takes going back to basics. It
Yes.
takes this enthusiasm and passion, and above all, it takes that you should learn, and you should put yourself in a position where you don't miss out. We have missed out a lot in Lebanon, especially from the financial sector. So, first of all, please educate yourself, okay? Be fully aware of what's happening around you. Connect yourself with people who know and who has experience. So, as in Beirut, I say, of course, I say the same for the Lebanese citizens, but I'm talking in general. So a Beirut token will require, I think, nothing. we do, I think this is revolutionary. Okay, so I can't say that it requires a government acceptance, only a cultural acceptance. Only that I'm Randa, having Bitcoin in my wallet, I can go to the street and I cash it out with anyone that has Bitcoin, or not even cashing out. I can go and buy something from the shop and pay in Bitcoin. And this is how it goes. This is the adoption, how the adoption grows, and it started. We have like few shops here in Lebanon, retail shops, let's say, that are accepting Bitcoin or USDT. So
Okay.
I think it's happening, and yeah, it's gonna happen.
Well, we would love to see you leading the Beirut token within the unit ecosystem. But Randa, uh,
Yeah,
for a wrap up, what
yeah.
was the happiest moment along your journey that you want to share with us?
I think happiest moment. The first time I got interviewed by the Daily Star, because that was in 2017. I was like hiding everything that I'm doing from the bank that I used to work with, and it was challenging experience for me. I can't talk about Bitcoin in the bank premises. And when the interview happened and it was published in the newspaper and online and social media, so that was the famous moment of the Bitcoin blockchain community in Lebanon. And then I shifted my way of thinking and my uh, planning, and I started with promoting this more and more, and forgot about the things that let me stop doing this, or I don't know, I lost the idea. But it was the moment of coming out, let's say.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for leading the way for hopefully many more coming out within this community and those who watch this video and are inspired by your fire, your passion. I'll let you go now because you have another speech to attend, right?
Yes,
We will share your social media data so people
yes.
can follow you on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and any other social media channel you want us to follow you on.
Basically LinkedIn and Twitter. We have an Instagram account for
Okay,
Bitcoin Blockchain Beirut Labs. Bitcoin Beirut, okay?
amazing. So thank you very much. And for the others who want to stay, we have another 10, 11 minutes of networking in breakout rooms.
Thank you
Thank you,
so
Ren.
much. Thank you, everyone, and see you later. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.